A highlight was that people are being more benevolent to other people, especially the helping of strangers. It went up dramatically in 2021 with the pandemic, stayed high in 2022. What we learned through that time has continued. Global happiness has not taken a hit in the 3 years of the COVID-19 pandemic. Life evaluations from 2020 to 2022 have remained remarkably resilient. Even during these difficult years, positive emotions have remained twice as prevalent as negative ones. Feelings of positive social support twice as strong as those of loneliness. So in the 2023 Happiness Report, Finland is the happiest country in the world, followed by, in this order, Denmark, Iceland, Israel just made the top 10, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and New Zealand. So the idea is that it's taking the holistic view of the well-being of all the components of a society and figuring out what makes life happy, what makes life good. So the United States is ranked number 15. Here's a short video about how they do this measurement of happiness.
What makes people happy? And how do we measure happiness? A global group of leading researchers have been working on ways to measure and explain happiness, as well as looking at why some countries are happier than others. They look at data from the Gallup World Poll. Included in the survey is the country ladder question. It asks people to imagine a ladder. The top of the ladder represents the best possible life for you, and the bottom of the ladder represents the worst possible life for you. On which step of the ladder would you say you personally feel you stand at this time? More than 100,000 people each year respond from all around the world, giving us a picture of a country's overall happiness. Countries such as Finland, Denmark, and Switzerland have consistently ranked at the top of the list. Why is that? There are 6 explanatory factors that help explain the different levels of happiness between countries. First up is social support. In order to feel secure, people need to feel that at least one person would care for them when in need. This is the number 1 predictor of happiness and well-being. Next up is GDP per capita, or how much each country produces divided by the number of people in the country. Healthy life expectancy is next on the list. We look at physical and mental health. Freedom to make life choices plays a key role in people's happiness. Generosity is measured by looking at how charitable people are. The final variable is an absence of corruption. This looks at both governments and businesses. Policymakers, communities, families, businesses, and individuals now have better guideposts to creating happiness. Each year, the World Happiness Report shares the newest insights in well-being science. We believe the best measure of progress is the happiness of people around the world. To find out more, check out worldhappiness.report.
So their idea is that the objective of every institution, now the broad meaning of institution being educational places and businesses and town government, so will all be contributing what it can to human well-being, accounting for future generations as well as preserving basic human rights. So what brings you genuine happiness? Take a moment there on your page and think of 3 things. I experience real happiness when. and then go ahead and talk to your neighbor. What was the first thing that came to mind for you? I'd love to hear a couple stories. When do you experience real happiness?
I experience real happiness when I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking. I feel like the world is just not around me, and I just am focusing on creating a new meal, not following a recipe, and just kind of exploring what I have in the fridge and what's around me.
Awesome. Creativity. That's fun. Great. There, folks, I see somebody over on that side with their hand up. Bless you.
Hi, so the first thing that I thought of was being on air, because I'm an anchor for PSN News and I'm a broadcast journalism major, and like my absolute dream is just to be a reporter like anywhere I can get a job, and so I just get such a rush doing that, and it's my passion, and I'm like so glad that I've already figured out that that's what I want to do with my life, but like being able to have the opportunity to do it now, and it's the most amazing feeling, and I absolutely love it.
Awesome. Good for you.
Jen, there's one right here by the camera.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is this on?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Stop laughing. I said when I get all my work done for the week and I have no more responsibility.
And then what do? How do you use your time?
I just get to like relax, watch Modern Family, and laugh.
Nice.
And eat ice cream.
Laughing and eating ice cream. Awesome.
Hi, I'm in the balcony.
Awesome.
I experience like real happiness when I see my dog. I love my dog so much, so whenever she's just like sitting on the couch or outside, like that's what brings me happiness.
That's awesome. Yes, thank you. People agree with that. So even when...
Wait, Jen.
Yeah.
Can I go?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I was just going to say probably just when I'm listening to music, because
Sweet.
it kind of takes me out of this world, and
Yeah.
I literally just wake up and like turn on my speaker and just start ripping music all day. So
Sweet.
yeah, probably that.
I had a good jam this morning. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. And some of this came out when you were talking about the happy people in your life too, you know, being with your mom or being with your grandpa, spending time with those happy people. So bringing genuine happiness, connecting with others face to face, connecting with ourselves, doing the things that bring us joy, being passionate about the things that we've chosen to do, connecting with the natural world, being outside, being with your dog, right? So it's interesting that that what you're saying is actually what's coming out. There are universities that actually have departments, happiness departments, and they're studying this. And it's interesting that this is what's coming out in the research as well as what's coming out in this room, being creative, connecting with ourselves, connecting with other people, connecting with nature. And so an interesting observation is that many of these things don't require money or not a lot of money. Going back to the World Happiness Report, the researcher says people are rethinking their life objectives post-pandemic. They're saying, I'm going back, but what am I going back to? What do I want to go back to? How do I want to spend the rest of my life? And so thinking about moving toward the values and moving toward other people, how we operate within the environments that we choose. So what if it's about relationship that's making me feel alive? Relationship with myself or other people or the world around me. What holds me back from those relationships? I love that you said laughing and eating ice cream, right? Laughter is the best medicine. Research shows that as children, we laugh on average 400 times a day. As adults, it goes down to about 15 times a day. And really, is it even that much sometimes? Laughing reduces our stress hormones, cortisol and epinephrine and adrenaline, dopamine, and it increases those health-enhancing hormones, the endorphins. It increases antibody-producing cells. There's this social benefit of connecting to ourselves and to other people. And with all of that comes reduced pain, increased immunity, and increased happiness. People talk about laughter yoga. Even if we're initially faking it, even if you just look in the mirror and are just like, ha ha, ha, ha ha, ha, like our body doesn't know that we're faking it, right? And so if you've even had 4 hours of sleep, and you've got a big test today, look in the mirror and just fake laugh for 30 seconds, and it's just going to help you to feel better, right? It's triggering that vagus nerve that we've talked about before. It's going to bring about those good feelings, right? The happiness paradox. Happiness doesn't come from seeking more, but from being grateful for what we have. Somebody spoke very beautifully. 2 people over here in the balcony spoke about their happy people. Piglet noticed that even though he had a very small heart, it could hold a rather large amount of gratitude. So how can we just cultivate that gratitude? Even getting up at the end of class, being grateful for seeing the people around you, being grateful that you can stand up and appreciate standing up, being grateful that we're going out into the sunny day. And so it's contagious within ourselves once we start doing those things. And so when we notice that we're not happy, how can we get at, this, where there's a disconnect between what we have and what we want, right? The goal is that we want to align what we have and what we want. We want to bring the 2 dots into alignment. So a desire to live with no gap between what I want and what I have. So completely accepting how life presents itself in the moment. So if I'm waiting for a friend, I'm standing by the corner room, waiting for a friend, and they're not coming, and they're not coming, and I'm looking at my watch, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm just standing here like everybody's walking by. I must look silly standing here by myself. Like, why didn't at least they call and say they're coming late? So I'm standing there, maybe 10 minutes later. So what I have is no friend, and what I want is the friend to show up. So how can I make those two dots align? Maybe it's by shifting what I have and appreciating what I have, and then wanting that. So it's a beautiful day. I'm standing on the corner in a beautiful little town, right? Watching people, which is something that I love. So how can I appreciate what I have? Notice those faces of the people walking by. The sun shining on top of a tree. The calls of far-off crows. And just being in gratitude for where I am, what I have. So you might be asking, I've got to have some money. I've got to have money at some point. But what is the annual salary that you need to be okay in life? You might be thinking that I'm overlooking this, right? So what's your idea of how much you need? Here are a couple of examples. This is Woody Wilson. His answer is $30,000 a year. He does what he loves. Wilson Home Farms. He drives around and he helps people. Sometimes you might see him, he drives a little pickup truck and he plants vegetables in the back of his pickup truck. He has a garden growing in the back of his truck. And so he drives around and teaches people how to grow stuff. This is Jenny Yule's answer, $20,000 a year. She works a job for 6 months of the year and then she has 6 months off. And she does things like this, hike the Pacific Crest Trail. So, what do you need? What do you need to be happy? The amount of happiness on one side of the graph is here, and the amount of money is here. We can only get to a point of being happy, right? And then all the extra money, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to choose it? Happiness levels off. At some point, more money does not mean more happiness. Like this, I can eat 1 or 2 Oreos, maybe 3, and be happy, but then I eat more Oreos, and it's not going to increase my happiness. I'm not going to feel better after doing that. So what is enough? Satish Kumar is an Indian activist and an editor. He wrote a book. He did a peace walk. And he was asking people what they need. How do they connect with others? How do they connect with themselves? In reflecting on this experience, Kumar wrote a book titled, "You Are, Therefore I Am." It's a declaration on dependence. Get that? A declaration on being dependent on others. After walking through a dozen countries for over 2 years, we have found that people are people everywhere. The natural instinct of people in all countries, cultures, and religions is to be helpful. Hospitality is normal, and hostility is exceptional. We are not separate, but one. We're not competing, but cooperating. Giving heart and receiving heart. An anthropologist proposed a game to kids in an African tribe. He put a basket full of fruit near a tree at a distance, and he told the kids that whoever got there first won the basket of fruit. They get to keep it. They get to take that fruit home. And he told them to run. Who's going to get there first? And instead, all those kids grabbed onto each other's hands and ran together, and then they sat, enjoying the treats. When he asked them why they did that, why did you do that? You could have had all of the fruit. One of you could have had all the fruit. They said, Ubuntu. I am because we are. How can one of us be happy if all the other ones are sad? I am because we are. Might it be that happiness is not so much about belongings as it is about belonging? First, I was dying to finish high school and start college, and then I was dying to finish college and start working, and then I was dying to marry and have children, and then I was dying for my children to grow old enough for school so I could return to work, and then I was dying to retire, and now I'm dying, and suddenly I realize I forgot to live. So my proposal to you today is this. Happiness is not a pursuit. It's not out there somewhere. Happiness is inside. It's ready to be cracked open and exposed by you, for you. For seeking happiness, it's this idea of being in alignment, being in integrity and in harmony with ourselves and others and the world around us. And I hope that you find some of it today. Have a beautiful day.